Hi, guys. Welcome to Weekly Travel Updates. If you are home without an air condition, this is the way you look. So, um, Mom is doing fantastic. She is up on her walker. She can be with a cane if she's not by herself. So, she's doing great. Thank all of you for your prayers. Today, I want to talk to you about a couple of things. First, I wonder if any of you knew anybody who was affected in Miami's port closure yesterday. Um, there was a ship was coming in to port, and he hit a ferry, and it sunk. And it sunk at the north channel of the port of Miami. And so ships who were scheduled to come in, 3 ships, couldn't come in. Ships who were scheduled to go out later in the day at 2:30, the port finally opened. So I think possibly there were some that were just delayed. But it affected 16,000 cruise passengers yesterday for the port of Miami. It's a beautiful sight. I tell you, I have friends who just got back from a sailing, um, not this past week, but the week before that, and they had a blast. I am terribly excited that my group from Cancun, they went to Cancun against some of their families' warnings. Well, a few months ago, I was warning myself. But anyway, they just got back. She said everybody in the family loved the resort. The food was awesome. The entertainment in the evening was great. It's an Iberostar. The Iberostar Lin, yeah, Lindia, Lindia. But it's in the Mayan Riviera, and it's just beautiful. Mom and Trey and I stayed at one of their sister properties just before the pandemic. So it was one that was one of my favorites. And Tina, we are glad you and all of your family are back home again. Well, um, on June 15th, this past week, we had a bunch of cruisers who went into a port illegally, or that's what they're saying. Um, Bar Harbor, Maine voted that there could only be a limited number of cruise passengers in at one time in port. And there was an America Cruise Line. It's a small ship vessel. It only holds 170 people. But this small ship vessel was moored out away from Bar Harbor. They didn't pull into port. And obviously, they didn't have a reservation because they got in trouble for being there. But they took passengers on a tender and took them in the Bar Harbor for a day full of fun. And so a lot of people in town made a big to-do over it. And I am anxious to see what happens. And guys, I seldom think to ask you, please go over to YouTube and like Weekly Travel Updates there. When I started this show, I just did what came natural, and Facebook was it at the time. So, lastly, I have just gotten in the office is air conditioned, so I've been at the office, but to issue or to get ready for our group tickets to Alaska. And I have to let you know, I have 2 seats left for Alaska. Mom and I are going to go host it. If you want to know who else is among us and you have interest in going Tomorrow is our ticketing day. We are going to fly out from Raleigh, Durham on the 12th of September. We're going to depart at 6 a.m. So, we got to leave Burlington early, but it includes transportation to the airport. You might as well save $100 for the 10 days we're gone. And we will fly Raleigh to Seattle and Seattle to Anchorage. We'll be there by lunchtime, which is super. I've never gotten in Anchorage that early in the day, but we will go and be able to fully enjoy the city for the day. They have an adorable visitor center. It's right downtown, and there is lots of shopping, and it is getting towards the end of their season by September. So, we plan on doing some shopping before we ever get out of Anchorage. But we will spend one night in Anchorage. We'll leave the next morning, and we're going to be on the Alaska Railroad, departing at 7:30 in the morning. And we will be in Gold Star service. Our group is the only one that will be a group on the Alaska Railroad that is in Gold Star service. Gold Star service means, well, let me tell you this way. Here's Holland American's cars and Princess's cars and Royal Caribbean's cars and Celebrity's cars. All these cruise lines have a car. And if this was the inside of the car, it's like 3 seats on this side all the way back and 3 seats on this side all the way back. Well, it kind of looks like a bus, but you do have these gorgeous, just over the top windows so you can see all around you. And our car will have that too. But let's see, here's the car. A third of the car are seats. And then there is a bar and a seating area. And then there's an elevator to go downstairs. And then the last part of the car is a 12 by 14 foot outdoor platform. So our car is the only one that you can walk outside on. And it's always been an exclusive for our group. And Alaska Railroad doesn't allow any more on groups unless you're grandfathered in like our group. So anyway, we get on the train and we'll head to Talkeetna, and we will arrive Talkeetna about 12:30. You can get off and see all the flowers and all the beauty that is Talkeetna. And we have about 10 minutes stop there. There's a very cool wooden map that's carved there. And we'll get back on, and we will arrive into Denali at 2:35. We'll be met there, and we'll be taken to our cabins. Yes, we are staying in very nice cabins. Every couple, just like you're rooming on the ship, you will have that kind of room in the cabins. And we'll spend the night there for 2 nights, because the first night we get there, well, after being on a train for 8 hours, we probably don't want to do much other than eat and chill, because we're going to get up early the next morning so we can go into Denali National Park. The object of Denali is for the big 5. We want to find a moose, an elk, a bear, a wolf, and an eagle. I can tell you, of the 8 trips previous to this, we have always been successful in finding everything that we were looking for. And we've even got some really close-up shots, so that's exciting. We'll leave the park and go in for the evening. The next morning, we set our sights on Seward. So we're headed back south for our cruise, and it's a 7-day sailing aboard Royal Caribbean's Radiance of the Seas. It is, again, a ship that we've done several times. We choose this ship because it has floor-to-ceiling windows in most public areas. And if you're in Alaska, you want to make sure you don't miss a thing. So in port, the difference with our group and others is our excursions are already included in our trip. I charter a bus wherever we go, and we do a private excursion. And it lends itself well to if somebody needs to make a quick stop at a store, or if we find something cool along the way. You know me, if I see sale, I might be tempted to go that way. Anyway, we get to do things that are off the beaten path. And every trip that we've taken, of all the groups I've hosted all around the world, and every year we've done at least one international trip, and many years an international trip and a domestic trip. Alaska's the only one that we've never had a complaint for. So it's always fun. And am I excited to go? Yes. Even Trey and Maya wanted to go, and Trey's been 6 or 7 times himself. So we will see, but we would love to have you. 2 spots left. We need your airfare tomorrow and a $500 per person deposit on the cruise. The rest of it is due at the end of July. So there have been lots of things that have gone on globally with the heightened worry that has gone on in Russia. Many of the travel insurance companies have listed this as it was already an act of war, but a reminder has gone out that, it is an act of war. And should something have to be canceled or changed as a result of this going on, it's not covered because it's already been declared. Where other areas are just booming. I've said this more than once, but the new statistics that are out are that still the fastest growing segment of travel is cruising, and the fastest number demographically of cruisers that has grown and still is number one are first-time cruisers. So we're getting ready to have an Alaska night, like the week after the 4th. And if it's something that you'd have interest in, or to hear about what we feel like are some of the most important things to do in Alaska, come by and see us. Message me. You can find me on Facebook. I could have put that at the bottom of this. My Calendly link is going to be at the bottom. You can email me at melinda@actiontravelinc.com, or you can call the office at 336-222-TRIP. One of my new customers, he was young, and he said, well, that's a cool number. And I said, yeah, when I moved home from California, I would say to people, you'll remember this number because I'm a TRIP. It's 222-TRIP. And he said, hey, that's really cool. And I said, yeah, it was cool. It was cool 30 years ago. So it was a little cooler then than it is now. I am tickled to death that we've got some viewers watching. You guys go over to YouTube and please like the videos there. Whether or not you watch it there is a different story, but I am trying to grow that our base there. Anyway, would love to have you in Alaska. Would love to have you with us in Hawaii. We are only a month away from firming up Hawaii for October 20th to 28th. Guys, so great to see you. I will talk to you again soon. Ciao.